listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references.
Welcome to Something Cheeky, where we discuss the TV series Vikings. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Well, I've watched the entire series. Rosanna has only watched up to what we're covering today, which is Season 2, Episode 1, Brothers' War. In this episode, we find out that the Lothbrok brothers can both just be really dense sometimes. Before we get into this, I just want to say I'm really excited that we are recording in the same room today.
Yay!
It's so fantastic! So, Rosanna, what was your reaction to this episode?
So, I thought this was kind of a weird first episode of the second season.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it just felt like the last season, kind of.
Like episode 10 of season 1? Yeah, I thought that too.
It did. And nobody will be surprised to hear that I was mad at Rollo.
Yeah.
He made so many bad choices. I'll say that. And Ragnar also made some bad choices. I mean, they were both just a mess. I feel like they didn't get good parenting. Why else would they be the way they are? I thought that Rollo wasted lives.
Oh.
It felt like a waste to me, this fighting, and
a lot of people died in that battle.
Yes, and he killed a lot of them.
Yes, it almost killed Floki.
And then surrendered at the end. It just seemed like such a waste to me. And then also, he just decided later he's going to throw himself a pity party. I just was so over him.
I don't know if they have a shortage of youth or if just so many people have gotten killed, but it sounded like a big deal to not have the younger people die. They were talking about that when they were negotiating. Yeah. That seemed like a big deal. That hasn't been brought up before.
That's true.
What was your favorite quote this time?
My quote was one of the slightly lighter moments. Not for the characters, but for me, as the viewer. Ragnar is sitting down at dinner, and he says to Lagertha and Oslag, looking at both of you here in my home, I see no reason why you two should not get on together. It's like, really, Ragnar?
It's ridiculous. And the look on Lagertha's face then...
Yes, I know. He's... I just want to know, is he that dumb? Or is he playing dumb so Lagertha doesn't get even more mad?
I don't know. It's ridiculous.
But it was also a little bit funny.
It was a little funny.
I don't know why you guys just can't get along. And other people do it. I mean, let's just try it, you know.
That whole scene drove me up the wall. It also seemed like there was this collusion going on. It really, the way that Aslag was kind of reacting to Ragnar's words, it looked like they had discussed this beforehand and agreed to what they were going to do.
Yeah, she's a really odd character.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
What's her motivation?
Yeah, and you just show up as the other woman, pregnant, and bring dinner and sit at the table with them?
Right next to him.
Like this was already decided.
Mm-hmm. She seems like she's used to getting what she wants. And she just pushes right through people
and not caring about anybody else. Mm-hmm. How they're going to react to it. It's like she doesn't even think about it because it doesn't matter.
I loved the part with Bjorn. When she was trying to...
It was just a tree.
Mm-hmm, trying to bond with him, and he's like, I don't want to bond with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Evil stepmother.
I like that too. I really liked Bjorn in this episode. I feel bad for him, but I liked his reactions.
Yeah, what do you think of that actor?
I think he's a Viking. I mean, I don't see him as a modern kid that it works for me. I miss Gyda.
Yeah.
I really do. I liked Gyda a lot.
Didn't see much of her, but she seems so sweet.
I don't miss Terry. She wasn't that giant of a character. I liked her fine, but I miss Gyda.
I feel like there were a lot of ways Terry's story could have been really interesting if they had decided to follow her path. So...
Her path has ended.
Yeah, she can't even spin off Terry's story. Before we get into the action... We have some clarification notes from one of our listeners.
Ooh, really?
Yes, SP Conlin. Thank you so much. Mr. Conlin apparently does some... I know, it's awesome. Yeah. Does some really neat, not reenacting. He said it was kind of a mix between reenactors and LARP.
Okay.
Live action role play. Mm-hmm. And he did a ton of research on Vikings.
Awesome!
Yeah, and so he clarified two things for us.
Okay.
So the thing...
Uh-huh.
Which we wondered about.
Yeah, we did.
We wondered what it was. It's the actual name of a gathering of the governing body. It's actually called The Thing.
And did he say that he agreed that that's kind of weird? That it's not any more specific? I mean, they were saying it like that's what it was called. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
I kind of wished that the show had used whatever the translation was in Old Norse instead, just to make it sound less... It pulled me out of the story every time they said it.
Yeah, that's true.
Would have been nice if they had just softened it in a way. The other item was the hairstyles. I know you're so interested in the hairstyles. I'm so excited. Apparently the hairstyles were actually researched very deeply. The differing styles are a regional and personal preference thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regional, that kind of makes sense because I remember when we talked about it, I thought it was strange that Rollo had full head of hair and it was long, but Ragnar had some of the hair. And I was wondering if it's because they lived in different places.
That makes sense.
Which they don't live in, like, super different places, but not right near each other.
Right.
And maybe that also is his personal preference, just to have
long, flowing, luscious locks. Yeah. Maybe he's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline.
So, was there any specification about why just the back half was shaved?
There was not. Though I have seen pictures of Celtic slaves, drawings of Celtic slaves taken by the Norse that had that sort of hairstyle shaved in the back.
It could be, like the mullet, where it was like, it was popular and people did it, and then you looked back at it and you're like, why did they shave the back of my head? I don't know. It was the style.
I remember your hair in 8th grade. I just still don't know why you did that, but...
It was the style. Nobody else was doing it. I was way ahead of my time. Man, I had bad hair.
Didn't we all have bad hair?
I mean, it wasn't... Though, remember, this is totally side thing, but not off topic. Do you remember when we were in middle school-ish and the girls would have a ponytail and they'd shave from under the ponytail down their neck? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like this Viking thing. Except they go up higher, but the girls did that. And I was always trying to figure out, how did they grow that out?
It looked terrible.
It was a weird look. You'd have to cut all of your hair or just try to figure out how to have your long hair going over your short, or just wear a ponytail all the time.
It just looked really stubby for a long time.
Yeah.
I was on the volleyball team. You're looking at me like you don't remember this. I'll tell you why you don't remember this. Because in, 7th grade, I tried out for the volleyball team. I can't remember how many people are on a volleyball team. I'm going to say 5?
5 on the court.
Okay, but 8 with alternates and stuff. So there were 8 girls. 10 people tried out. 8 girls made it on the team. 1 girl made it as an alternate, and I was the scorekeeper. Because I was the last person. That's how horrible I was at volleyball. It was terrible.
They needed somebody to keep score.
They didn't even give me a uniform, so in the team picture in the yearbook, it's 9 girls in uniforms and me in this, bright white sweater that just stands out.
I don't remember that at all.
That picture is super embarrassing. We need to find this picture and post it. Because it is horrible.
I don't think we have an...
We have it somewhere, because I've seen that picture, and it is embarrassing every time. I feel this deep sense of shame every time I see that picture.
I have a bunch of Sacred Heart yearbooks that the girls and I look at periodically.
So, listeners, you probably don't know, but we went to Catholic school for a few years when we were kids.
For 4 years, I think.
Yeah, uniforms and everything.
Yep. Nuns and everything. Nuns and uniforms, and we went to church during class time. And we had a religion class, which was pretty much just Catholic class, but they called it religion, but that was the only religion we studied.
So we know all about apple stand.
Yes, we do.
Really, really fills a void in my heart. Where Catholicism used to live, now I just have apple stand. Let's get back to this. Thank you, SP Conlin, very much.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to get feedback.
Yeah, and give us more of that information if you find more stuff that we ask about and don't know.
Or we say and it's just totally wrong. Call us out.
I'm all for corrections.
Definitely.
Yes. All right, the action. I noticed in the beginning there were just a couple of glimpses of Rollo that were so overdramatic. It opened up with him on the horse in slow-mo with a scowl on his face. Then, in a different part later, Ragnar was imagining him just standing there staring at him with blood dripping down from his entire body.
I thought that was very weird. And then I wondered if maybe it was like a prophetic sort of maybe Odin is giving him a vision or what. And I was like, no, he's just imagining it.
He did look pretty covered in blood by the end of the battle, though.
That's
but
true.
Not quite like
but
Carrie.
Not, right, yeah.
He looked like Carrie. He was just soaked and dripping.
And it still seemed like Ragnar was still holding out hope. Even not down to the very last minute before it started. Mm-hmm. He was like, oh, I mean, I think he's probably going to change his mind any minute now. Any minute.
I feel like Ragnar is doing the opposite of what most people do when he's becoming more naive as the series progresses.
Kinda.
Between what he thinks of Rollo and the whole situation with the two women.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely.
It's like he thinks all these things are going to just happen for him.
Things
and
will just
work out.
It's almost like he's trying to will it to happen his way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, Rollo's not going to fight me because I've decided he's not going to. Lagertha is going to be cool because I've decided she's going to be cool.
I just wish hard enough. We see the camp. It opens up to this giant pit, which I'm not sure why they're on the edge of a pit. Maybe it's more defensible. It looked very dramatic, though.
That's true.
It also looked just like this. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but a pit that is in Fallout New Vegas, where it's kind of an open world video game.
Oh, okay.
And it's after like nuclear war and all that.
Mm-hmm. Post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm. And there's one part, often one deep part of the map, where you can find a pit and it's full of these mutated centaurs. They're super disgusting.
Mutated centaurs?
They're all blobby. They don't actually look like horses, but they're called some sort of centaur. Anyway, they're disgusting, but they're in this big pit, and you can, like, what I do is hang out at the top and just snipe them if I have to, but you can go down and get the treasure from that. But it looks just like that, except without the
blobby centaurs.
Yes. But I thought of it immediately as soon as the helicopter went over the camp. All I could think of
weird.
was the video game, which you would not enjoy, because it's gross. It's full of really gross creatures.
Yeah, and I don't really play video games at all anyway.
That's true.
I'm not opposed to them, I just don't have them.
I always want to play video games without killing a ton of people. I don't want to fight, I want to do all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to explore and craft, and basically I want Sims, but rougher.
Well, and we have an Xbox 360, and one of the games we have is a Harry Potter game. And you can go to potions class, and you can do, it's sort of like you're walking around in Hogwarts and stuff, and that's kind of a cool video game.
That is something fun. I only ever do sniper kind of killing. I very rarely fight hand to hand in any games. Yeah, so in Skyrim I only ever am an archer. I always try to do other things when I start, and I think everybody who ever plays Skyrim tries to be a brute, but you end up just, it's so much easier just to shoot them from afar.
Which also in life is like that.
Basically how I am on the internet, just don't have to actually get face to face.
That's how introverts fight. Mm-hmm. It's with a bow and arrow.
The introvert archer. Ragnar still thinks Rollo's not going to betray him, which is ridiculous because everybody else... He's literally with the opposition on the hill, and you still think that there's a chance. Ragnar is often the smartest man in the room, but this...
Not when Rollo is there too. He gets real dumb.
He really does.
That's the thing though. Ragnar's not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's not really naive. That's not a word I would pick for him in other circumstances either. I can't figure out why he's so blind to just that one area.
And it just seems like it's family.
But I mean, it's staring him right in the face. Like, literally, Rollo's staring him right in the face.
Yeah. With Floki behind him, like the devil on your shoulder.
I did like Floki.
Yeah. What did he say? You must always think the worst so you're not disappointed. Such a pessimist.
That's a very pessimistic way.
Which does not seem like Floki.
That's
doesn't
true.
Seem like a pessimist.
He doesn't.
He seems perky, almost.
Maybe he has had some familial disputes that have colored that perspective.
We haven't met any of Floki's family.
Right. Well, and like, who was it talking about? Oh, it was...
The Borg?
Yes. He was talking about that he killed his brother. Because his brother something with his wife?
He tried to poison the Borg, but his wife drank it.
Right.
So his wife died in agony.
And so he killed his brother. So maybe Floki had some, maybe not that specific circumstance, but maybe Floki had some sort of a unrepairable argument with family. He's like, yeah, everything's cool unless you're related. Then it's probably going to be bad.
There's a graveyard out behind Floki's house. That's all his family members he killed off as they almost betrayed him, but he got to him first.
Yeah. I could kind of see that too, though. He's kind of kooky.
It's very kooky. That's the perfect word for Floki. Just full of I told you so's.
Yep.
To Ragnar. He even says it twice, and I just want to smack him. Like, we all know what's happening now. Though Ragnar still needs to hear it because he just cannot.
Right. I agree with that. I agree that Ragnar, that if Floki could say that to anybody, Ragnar would be the person to say it to. Mm-hmm. He is just not getting it.
We go to the Borg and Rollo. They have blood on their chest from some sacrifice, maybe, that we did not see. I have no idea, but they both have swipes of blood. Yeah. And I feel like there was some sort of scene cut where they did something, or we just assume they made a sacrifice because neither one seemed to be injured. Also, all the tattoos have faded, which I like that they're really keeping a nice kind of timeline with the makeup. And One Eye shows up and says Rollo is like a brother to him, which makes it really sad later when he is killed.
That was like one of the things where I was like, what a waste to kill him if you were just about to surrender.
Yeah.
You couldn't have let him live?
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
He killed him in such a horrible way.
What is Rollo... You know what Rollo needs? I've just decided. I've just realized what he needs.
What?
A therapist. He is dealing with some issues in a poor fashion. And it's got to be based on something in his past. Why else would you kill somebody like that? Somebody you know.
I feel like the seer would be the closest approximation of a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I just wonder if someday we'll see what happened. There has to have been something in his youth or childhood that has just... Because he's not okay.
He is not, that's true.
I mean, in any interaction you see him have with Ragnar, with Lagertha, with Siggy, he does not have good relationships. He doesn't know how to. But I don't feel sorry for him because he's still a jerk.
Let's get into the battle. I was surprised that it was such a small group of fighters.
Yes.
I felt like there were a lot more men lined up on the hilltop.
Yes.
And then ended up on the battlefield itself.
I was not a fan, really, of the battle scene from beginning to end.
Oh.
It just felt like another battle.
It did feel kind of rote. Just...
Yeah.
Nobody really wanted to be there. Except the Borg, that he was the only guy who really wanted this to happen.
Well, yeah, because if people were really passionate about it besides him, then it wouldn't have ended so easily. And even with him being passionate about it, he still seemed like he just was like, yeah, alright, I mean, I guess, whatever. It just felt, well, like I said before, it just felt wasteful for the people that died.
It really did.
To fight this battle that was just...
Pointless.
Pointless, yeah, exactly. This is a pointless battle. And people died for nothing.
Yeah, he agreed so quickly, too. Yeah. All they had to do was dangle Ragnar's west trips in front of him.
Also, by the way, why didn't Ragnar... I don't know, maybe mention that before they started fighting? Seems like it would have saved everybody a lot of trouble.
He thought Rollo was the key, but he was not.
Why would he think that? Oh my god. No, Ragnar!
The battle started kind of oddly, too. It had the two lines of men, and Ragnar's men all looked normal. Rollo's men, half the guys were shirtless. I don't...
Oh my gosh,
so
yes!
Weird.
When the camera panned everybody, and I was like, these other guys have swords and spears, you guys. Are you not going to wear, like, a vest or something? You just get stabbed right in the stomach or the heart, or... Why would you not wear... protection?
I don't know. And I had noticed in the very beginning of the episode that Ragnar's guys were actually wearing armor.
Yeah.
Kind of really thick leather jerkins, or what are they called? Something like that. Yeah, and so it seemed weird that not just Rollo, but I guess they had to make more than just Rollo shirtless or he would have looked ridiculous. Which he already did kind of look... He didn't even have a shield.
What? The whole thing is just very weird. It was a really weird way to start the second season.
It really was.
It just...
It felt like it was the it felt like it was a finale.
Yes.
Of the first season. It really should have just been the finale.
I wonder if they had some sort of issue and it didn't play out the way they wanted it to, like timing-wise. Because it was a really weird way to open a season, for sure.
And I will say, without actually giving you any spoilers, the second episode of season 2 seems like the first episode of a season. A lot more than this did.
So...
It was very strange.
I just wonder if maybe they're... I can't look up any production
No, you can't.
notes. I'm not allowed. But if there was some kind of a timing issue, or if they had it recorded and for whatever reason they had to put it on the next season... Because last season, I was expecting a big, like, cliffhanger. And we did get the whole Aslog, pregnancy thing. But it didn't sort of suck you in like you would expect the end of the first season to try to bring people back. It was a weird place to pause, I guess. A weird place to stop.
And Rollo's betrayal, too.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't actually done anything. He just agreed to it. Yeah, with Ragnar creeping around in the dark and... There's a lot of misdirection, too.
He was acting really weird this episode. And I'm sure we'll get to it, too, when we get further. But when Aslog's ship showed up and he was hiding behind the pole...
He looked so panicked.
And like, dude, you're the Earl.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're gonna go? Everybody knows who you are.
And the look on her face when she saw him, like, are you serious?
He was hiding behind a pole.
A pole that wasn't even full size.
Like he was a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
If I can't see them, they can't see me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just close my eyes. Everything will be fine. It seemed like they were trying to make the fight really intense, even though for me it did not feel intense. Mm-hmm. The stakes didn't seem super high.
Yeah, there were no stakes.
Yeah. And even in the closed captioning, I counted 4 times that the closed caption used forcefully to describe what was happening. Just kept, like, pushing it.
Yeah.
Just inhales and exhales forcefully. Shields clank and thud forcefully.
This is a really intense fight. Just take our word for it.
And Ragnar charged first. It just seemed forced. Mm-hmm. His trying to build up the intensity. He just seemed downtrodden. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, because he did not want to fight his brother.
That's true, yeah.
There were several times, did you notice this, where men were flung over the top of the battle?
Yes. It was almost like you could imagine a cheerleading, like, pyramid on one side, and like, all right, we need to get over the shield wall. 1, 2, 3, and like, catapulted them over.
That's exactly what I thought. I was winning cheerleading flyers with the big base dudes in the back wearing like and matching uniforms, matching Viking uniforms, getting the guys with little like shield patches or something on their shirts.
Yeah, definitely.
Just launching the guys up and over.
Yeah, I actually, this episode, and I don't usually do this, I'm pretty bad at paying attention to what's happening in the background. I usually look at what they want me to look at. Mm-hmm. But honestly, the battle scene, I was kind of like over it. Mm-hmm. So I was looking behind who they were showing fighting and the people fighting behind, and that's when I saw the people get chucked over.
Just bring it on style.
And they were just like, here's my sword, bing, bing. Here's my shield, bang, bang. Even the actors were like, are we still doing this, you guys?
I always hate when people have like swords and axes when they fight and they swipe at someone and the person goes down. Like, with no visible, actual injury. You didn't kill that guy. You didn't disembowel him. You kind of
scared his
arm.
He's like those fainting goats.
He's playing possum. Even Floki went down, and he seemed like he was not fighting at his level that he should be.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, I feel like Floki would be a pretty decent adversary to Rollo in a fight.
Yeah.
But he was not at all this time.
No.
He went down way too easily, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is also a surprise, because he seems to have so much animosity toward Rollo. You'd think he would be super intense about it.
Maybe they just needed him to be injured.
Yeah.
But I don't like that.
Yeah, a lot of the battle just seemed really forced.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was a lot of different music during the battle, too.
Oh, I didn't even notice the music this time.
See, the music really stood out to me this time, which is funny because usually it doesn't, and it does to you.
Yeah.
But it was almost this Irish jig feeling kind of music.
Oh my gosh. How did I miss that?
You were too busy paying attention to the cheerleaders in the
background.
And Arna, One Eye, up on the spear was ridiculous. Rollo just went full berserker at that point. He was out of his mind.
And why? Is he just so frustrated and he does not know how to deal with it?
I think just so much adrenaline. He just had to do something.
I mean, that was an awful, awful thing to do.
Maybe even if it was something where it's something that he wished he could just do to Ragnar, he really couldn't.
And maybe he didn't
so he's just
really
taking it out on someone else because he wants to just bullies who just need to let out anger, and so they just find an outlet. The outlet in this case was one eye. Maybe you could answer this. Why did Rollo's surrender stop the fight? Why didn't Jarl Borg continue to fight? Why does one man giving up make everyone have to stop?
Why is Borg following Rollo?
Right.
Didn't Rollo say he was going to fight for Borg?
He outranks him. I couldn't understand why they didn't just keep fighting.
Yeah.
They were down one guy.
Right. And it seems like a bunch of people would have gone after Rollo after he killed somebody that they were close to.
Right. The fight was a problem. You'd think that if they did have the normal amount of time between seasons, they would have written a better first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode was a disappointment for me.
It's kind of like they needed to get to a point, and they just didn't think all the way through to get to it. They're just like, let's just do this. This will get us to that point. And I don't watch a show to see how they get to the...
Right, it's the journey.
Yeah, and this was not good. These are just not good writing choices, I guess.
I was let down by you, Vikings. I know you can do better.
Yes, I am optimistic about the next episode because you have said it's a good one.
Does feel a lot more like the first episode of a season. I think when it starts, you'd be like, of course.
Oh, geez, now I'm worried.
We get to the negotiations. The Borg won't accept the offer, then he will accept the offer, and he's just all over the place because his pride is more important, and then it's not, and I don't know where he's at. He's a mess. Everybody's a mess.
Yes.
Everybody on the bad side seems to have no real follow through.
Yeah, they're not sticking to anything.
Right. I wish that we had realized before that Ragnar going west and people going with him was such an incentive for people like Borg. Because could have used that a long time ago.
Yeah, and why didn't Ragnar bring this up at any point before now?
It makes sense that he wouldn't have brought that up to Borg before because he was fighting Horik and Ragnar is on Horik's side. Yeah. So he could have suggested it to Horik. Ragnar, you're a better strategist than this.
Yes. We have been led to believe so.
Yes. I feel like it's still paralleling the lies of Loch Lamora.
It so much is. Both of our, lead men here are starting to fall a little shorter than they've been built up to be.
Yes. Listeners, you should listen to that because that book is fantastic.
It's scaring me. I'm worried. as usual.
We haven't been let down by it the way that we have in a couple spots in Vikings. And not that I still don't love Vikings, but there are points where I just think that they could have done a lot better. While they're doing all this negotiation, I had completely forgot that Rollo was still just kneeling in the background. Until they came back to him. I was like, oh yeah, they still have to deal with him. What are they going to do? He's just waiting, covered in blood. And
also, doesn't he know that if he goes with them, he's going to be judged? Why didn't he just stay with Borg's crew? I guess they probably would have done the same thing, though.
I think at that point he was just like a prisoner of war.
And nobody really wanted... I mean, I guess Ragnar wants him, but I still can't figure out why.
Ragnar, still blind, still saves Rollo.
Yep.
By bribing the lawgiver.
Yeah.
Still going out on a limb, even though everything that Rollo has done has shown he is untrustworthy.
And what a cop-out on this whole lawgiver thing. Like, when he said that before they showed the coin, but when he said, if the gods wanted Rollo dead, he'd be dead. I'm like,
right.
That doesn't sound accurate.
He's using his own...
To me. And then we saw the coin, and I was like, oh, of course. But, yeah, he is just a man. Yeah. Even on that rock, Ragnar. I know he was saying all that stuff, and I was like, what? What is this baloney he's talking about?
Also, where was the lawgiver before when Ragnar was on trial for killing Canute?
Good point.
And the man in the pilot was on trial for murdering the guy.
Maybe the Earl usually makes the decision unless it's his brother.
Yeah. He has to recuse himself.
I suppose so. Which he didn't really do.
Well, yeah, because it was the same situation.
Right.
It was his brother.
Yeah.
And also, even if it was only for cases where you had to recuse yourself, That does not give the lawgiver much to do
Yeah.
throughout the year.
This episode, I mean, honestly, it was just confusing until it got to the end. Then it was a little bit awesome.
Oh, and Ragnar did get a good jab in when he told Rollo, in case you care, your niece is dead. Finally, Rollo seemed abashed.
Yeah.
We can see that a little bit of time has passed when Ragnar has returned, and now. So we still don't know what's going on with him and Lagertha. And at that point, I was just like, I need to know immediately what we know. Luckily, we go right to Kattegat when all the men are getting back. Rollo's in chains. Floki's injured. Poor Helga's so upset.
Yeah.
She's just like, please don't die. I like her.
I do too.
I want her and Lagertha to be friends. So Rollo is on the boat. He's in chains. What did you think was going to happen to him at that point?
I wasn't really sure what they were going to do with him because I didn't think that he could be killed for the show.
He's immortal.
But I knew a lot of people would be calling for it.
Mm-hmm. And they were.
I guess I just assumed that Ragnar was going to pardon him. Because he would never kill him.
Because he's an idiot sometimes.
And also, we've never seen the lawmaker passer guy before. So
the who?
The lawmaker passer.
Guy.
We've never seen him before, so it wouldn't even occur to me that was a possibility.
On the law rock.
Right.
Just, let's be literal.
Yeah. I knew that people would want Rollo to be killed for his crimes legitimately.
He killed probably their family members.
People. Yeah. And I knew that Ragnar wouldn't let it happen, but I wasn't sure how it was going to get to that point. I thought Ragnar was just going to say, I'm the Earl, and I said no.
So do you think Rollo has total plot armor in this show? Because it sounded like you said there was no way
I just don't think he could die. Okay, maybe I'm not saying that he can't die ever in the show, but he couldn't die right now.
Okay.
He's set this whole thing up to go against Ragnar. They can't just kill him and be like, oh, well, that was easy.
You've read A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. This is no song.
You can't just kill Ned Stark.
Ice and Fire. Okay, that's a good point.
How many people said that? You just can't kill Ned Stark. He's coming back, right?
I know. First episode. You're like, when you watch Game of Thrones.
He's our main character.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically they could have killed him. But to me, it just seemed like they were building up to this face-off.
Ah, yes.
Which, honestly, was a disappointment. But I didn't think they could kill him.
Do you think there's going to be another face-off, or do you think he's just beaten down?
I think he's pretty well beat right now. But I wouldn't put it past him to come back.
Okay.
Because, like I said, he's not okay. He's not all there. He's got some issues he needs to work through.
And he does have a woman who seems to be pretty good at getting somebody back to being less insecure. Siggy was very reassuring to the Earl, and of course you're going to win, and of course this, of course that.
Yes, she is supportive and uplifting.
Kind of wish she weren't, but...
Well, yeah, I'm just kind of wondering why she's wasting her time on Rollo. Is she in love with him, really?
I still am not sure what their relationship is.
I have no idea what their relationship is.
They obviously live together.
I guess.
But are they married?
I actually thought about that when I was watching it, too. What is their status? Mm-hmm. Like, if they were on Facebook, what would it say? It's complicated. Yeah, it's strange to me that she's making such an effort to bring him back up. And I kind of agree with him that he should leave. And Siggy should just go too if she's that concerned about him. But can you live in a town where everybody's mad at you because you killed their family members? Feels like it'd be really awkward.
That would be unpleasant.
At the side market.
Your house gets egged and toilet papered. Rollo really seems like the kind of person who just wants to wallow in his misery.
Yeah, like I said, pity party.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, oh, poor me. Everybody hates me.
Straight emo.
And it's like, Rollo, why do you think everybody hates you? Because you've done a bunch of horrible things.
It's like when you're depressed, you just want to listen to really sad music.
Yeah.
To just make yourself feel even worse. Because it somehow makes you feel better. So if he stays in the same town, just more put upon.
He acts like a teenager.
Does.
All the time. He's so self-centered. He's so immature.
And pubescent.
Yes.
Just hormone-driven.
And then the whole, boo-hoo, poor me. Yeah, he's totally a teenager.
He is.
Stuck in a man's body.
really, really attractive man's body. I appreciate that Clive Standen is of an age where it's not embarrassing for me to have a crush on him.
Like Dylan O'Brien?
You shush. We do finally get to find out about Lagertha.
Yes.
And what she knows. Which is not much. She's heard the name Aslog.
Just from Bjorn.
Right, but it's strange that he told her about a woman they met, but didn't tell her more.
I think that she realized that him telling her was that there was more to it.
Right.
That he couldn't say because of his loyalty to his dad. But as soon as she saw Ragnar, she's like, did you have sex with her? I mean, she knew that that's where it had been going.
I really loved how perceptive she was just by his reactions. I mean, she obviously knows him so well.
Yeah.
She said, who is Aslog? And Bjorn was surprised. Ragnar was angry. And then she said, oh, who was Aslog? Mm-hmm. Oh, I know exactly who she was at this point.
Yeah.
Like, his one fleeting look on his face told her everything she needed to know about the situation. And Siggy was shaking her head at her to stop. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you need to let this out. Lagertha she's not gonna be meek. She's not gonna demur to whatever Ragnar wants.
Right.
She's much stronger than that. And then Ragnar tries to put the blame on Bjorn. Oh, what'd you tell her, boy? You cannot pass the buck this many times. You have to take responsibility.
Yeah. Bjorn has shown that he respects his father, but he also really respects Lagertha. Mm-hmm. And he's not willing to turn on either one of them.
Yeah. Then they have a fight, which, even though it ends in the same way, it starts out very differently from the other fight that they had. Mm-hmm. The physical fight, where she's actually throwing things at him. Right. She's very, very angry, understandably. And Ragnar's facial expressions drove me crazy in this episode. Mm-hmm. He gets her up against the wall, and he's almost seductively saying, what do I have to do to make you let this go?
Right.
Like, we'll just have sex and everything will be okay.
Yeah, I really hate scenes where people are fighting and that's where they end up.
It's foreplay.
Yeah, because I just don't believe that of Lagertha.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe that. I think that they did that because that's a thing, but I think that's out of character for her. I think it's supposed to be because she missed him and she loves him and she doesn't actually know the extent of, the pregnancy and stuff. But even still,
I'd give her a little more leeway for that. Not just because she didn't know the extent of it and he had said it was just once, which obviously was not true. We saw him sneak into her room at the end, so I'm assuming it was more than once. But even if it were just once, it's ridiculous. But I think that Lagertha may have been trying to make it okay for herself. You know when you first get really bad news about something and you're just trying to make it so you can survive it? Mm-hmm. And get to the next day. And maybe the next day is when you'll really think about how you really feel about something. But before that, it's just what you have to do to get through. So her just saying, I'm just going to make it okay. He's my husband. He's back. It was just once. It's never going to happen again. Right. We're never going to see her again. He's promised. Let me try to make this normal again. It's a theory. I don't know if I should feel bad that I am willing to give Lagertha so much more credit than Ragnar.
No, I mean, I think Ragnar's shown that he's a pretty selfish and self-centered character. And Lagertha's shown that she cares about everybody.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to give her more credit because she deserves it.
Yeah. I think, am I letting her off the hook too much? But really, she hasn't actually done anything
wrong. She hasn't done anything.
Yeah. She's just reacting to Ragnar being an asshole.
And even her reactions aren't overreactions.
It's true.
I think they're reasonable reactions.
I feel so bad for Bjorn because he just doesn't want Ragnar and Lagertha to be angry at each other. Rollo finally apologizes to Ragnar. Well, his approximation of an apology. He wanted to step out of his shadow. And he was planning on leaving without telling Siggy. Again, because it's only about him.
Yep.
I'm sure you would have wanted it that way.
Oh, poor me. Poor Rollo. What did I do to deserve this?
How can I make this more dramatic than it needs to be?
Exactly.
He's like I'm sorry to 12-year-old girls, but he's like a 12-year-old girl.
He's a drama queen.
Yeah.
He's definitely a drama queen.
Ragnar says goodbye to Gyda. He goes out to the farm.
I liked that.
Yeah. It was really sad.
It was sad.
They did this weird fuzzy background effect with the camera.
With the side of his face?
Yeah.
From that I didn't get that.
I also did not understand.
I wasn't sure.
That was for.
I thought maybe it was going to lead to something else.
Yeah.
And it just
Her ghost appears behind him and fuzzy.
I would have been alright with that. But it was just blurry on one side.
Yeah, it was very strange. And then Aslog arrives. I'm not sure if time had passed because suddenly there was snow.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So I was assuming more time had passed again.
I'd say at least 6 months from when they left.
That's true, yeah.
Because, I mean, she was...
very pregnant.
I mean, she's got to be like 8 months, right?
Maybe.
So, longer than 6 months. Yeah, or about, at least.
Well, traveling and, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a little while, yeah.
Yeah. Lagertha. Not only does she have to deal with Ragnar's baby mama, she has to welcome her because she's a freaking princess and act like a, very nice lady. It's just so humiliating.
Yeah.
With no warning.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then she's pregnant, and Lagertha's just, what? Is this my life now?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's this, her looking back and forth between Ragnar and Aslog. Like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
She's just, it's almost like every episode, Lagertha gets one new super crappy thing to deal with that is not her fault.
Yeah, none of it's her fault. She's a good person. She's taking care of her family. She's doing what she needs to do. And she's just constantly having to react to the bad things that are happening to her.
We get to the feast that they have for Aslog, who quickly offends Lagertha, talking about farmers and all that. I was wondering, how did Lagertha become a shield maiden when her parents were farmers? An extension of that, how did Ragnar learn to fight so well? I'm assuming his parents were also farmers, but I'm not sure. None of them seem to have famous parents. They're all exceptional fighters. Who trained them? Is there some roving teaching? I don't know what I'm saying now.
It's like a karate studio in a regular town, but it's like learn to fight like a Viking school. I don't know. We don't know anything about the parents of these people besides that Lagertha's parents were farmers. But Lagertha was also a farmer and a shield maiden, so maybe that's what her mom was. Maybe she farmed, but she also knew how to fight.
Maybe.
Because I think, or at least we talked about Lagertha teaching Gyda how to fight and just knowing how to protect yourself and take care of yourself.
We had the point where Aslog is trying to get Bjorn, basically, to like her.
Right.
I wish I could have seen Lagertha's face during this conversation, because I imagine she would have just loved it.
Yeah.
With Bjorn just saying no. I liked seeing Aslog embarrassed in that way. Did you notice when they were having dinner, they were sitting up on the dais, and Bjorn was running his fingers over a flame?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I just caught it for a second. I rewound. I'm like, did that just happen?
Aww.
I'm glad that they gave him that little moment.
Yeah, that's nice.
Trying to be like his dad. And of course, Aslog can't cook. Of course she had her women cook. Of course all she did is just spend her money. Didn't actually put any effort into this gift.
Also, the whole story about her parents was really weird. Who they were, and her father was a dragon slayer. Were there dragons?
Sure.
Were her parents like 500 years old? I mean, I don't understand what was happening there.
Yeah, they were legendary. Oh, does she have anything going for her besides being beautiful? She can't cook. She doesn't appear to know how to fight. She's basically Paris Hilton. Aslog is Paris Hilton.
She is prettier than Paris Hilton.
Yes, but she doesn't appear to have any actual talents.
So here's the thing with this character. We haven't seen very much about her as a person, except for the fact that she slept with and got pregnant by a married man and then showed up at his house.
Yeah.
So that's not a great first impression for us.
Not so much.
Or for anyone in Kattegat.
And she has not seemed to have any shame about any of the situation at any point.
No, I know. No shame at all.
Yeah. Not that she should be the one who is ashamed of this. I mean, certainly Ragnar.
Oh, he should definitely be ashamed, but I think she should also. She knew he was married when she slept with him.
Yeah.
That's...
I assume. We don't actually know that. He had a child, but that doesn't necessarily mean...
I mean, he had a child who was, like, giving her a dirty look all the time.
It's true.
Also, you could say, hey, by the way, are you married? I don't know. There are some women that are the other women that are like, well, he never said. Well, but maybe you should take a little bit of that responsibility. Plus, how did she know she was pregnant in like 20 hours?
Mm-hmm. Just got a turkey with the thermometer pop out when you're...
Did she get pregnant on purpose? Was she like, hey, I'm ovulating and here's this Viking. Like, let's make this happen.
Also, are we still sure that it's Ragnar's?
No, how could we be?
Yeah.
But it's not like they had DNA testing.
Exactly. So that one magical moment with Ragnar.
She just wants to stir up trouble.
In a room full of men and his son.
She's definitely not on my list top 5 favorite characters at all.
Could you even fill that list? I'm pretty sure you'd have bottom 5 characters.
Do they have to have names to be on the list?
These are the 5 worst people, and here's the one good one that we like, which is Lagertha.
Yeah. I like Bjorn too, though.
That's true. Oh god, Ragnar. Trying to convince Lagertha that he should get 2 wives.
Well, because other girls do it.
Yeah, why not?
It works for them.
It happens in other places.
It's better for the children.
Oh my god, that was...
both marriages.
You notice, before, he hadn't said anything about marrying her before, just that she would be there.
Right.
But now suddenly, she's going to be equal to Lagertha in this relationship. And because she's a princess, she would kind of knock Lagertha out of top spot there.
Definitely.
Which is not cool. And I thought that Ragnar and Aslog had discussed it before, because he wasn't looking at her like he was trying to convince her. He was only looking at Lagertha, and she was too. And oh god, Lagertha wasn't looking at anybody. She had that focus on something else look, where you're just trying to get through it. I felt so bad for her.
She was kind of like, Ragnar, stop talking. Just Ragnar, just stop talking. Just stop talking right now. Just please stop talking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she wanted to say. Just shut up.
Really rather not cry in front of all of these people.
This is not the time. This is not the place. You're crazy if you think I'm just going to go along with it. And I was going to be really mad if that's how it went. I was gearing up to be upset. Because I was like, that's just not her.
Because she'd given in before with the...
Yes.
They were fighting before.
Yeah.
Oh, man, she redeemed herself when she was talking to Floki later, and he said, you're leaving? And she said, of course I'm leaving.
Yes.
I think it just took her a while to get to that, of course, part.
Yeah. I'm glad that she did. I think that it's exactly what she said to Ragnar. She said, you humiliated me in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You just showed me exactly how much respect you have for me.
And even if no one else had ever seen any of it, or knew about what was happening, just the fact that he would do that to her, that he would think that all these things are okay, that she could just accept them.
Yeah, and they've been together at least 13 years, right?
Yeah.
This is a...
Deeply rooted.
Yeah, and he throws it away because he wants another son? Yeah. I mean, he's throwing it away, and maybe he didn't think that that's how she would react, but he should know better. He should know better.
He could still support a woman and support a child without bringing her into his home and marrying her also. It's not the only option there. That would still be insulting, but I think Lagertha could have lived with that if he just set Aslog up somewhere else. Still had nothing to do with her, but
exactly like
the child.
Kings, and they have a queen, and they have their mistress, and the queen has babies, and the mistress has babies, and that's just,
separate households. They don't have to live together.
Right. They don't have to see each other.
Yeah. When they're in bed, Ragnar says that he can't turn Aslog away because she's pregnant. Did he think he would never see her again? He didn't seem to care that she was pregnant when he left because he didn't take her back to Kattegat.
Right.
Didn't seem like they had an arrangement because he was shocked when she arrived in Kattegat. Where did he think was going to happen?
That maybe she'd just show up and drop off the baby?
I don't know.
Here's your baby. You're welcome.
And if a child is that important to him, you'd think he would have made some sort of arrangements. Unless they did make arrangements for her to come, and he thought she just wouldn't do it. He'd just get away with something, or I don't know.
Or she'd be later? It's likely that he had more time?
Maybe.
To prepare Lagertha?
I don't think he ever would have said anything if Bjorn hadn't
How can he be so
started that.
dumb? He's just acting dumb.
Lagertha is packing and says, don't forget the axe. Like it's... Don't forget your deodorant or something on your trip. And Floki says goodbye, and a horrible choice that Bjorn has to make.
Yes.
Deciding between your divorcing parents.
Yep.
Though Lagertha accepting his decision without trying to convince him. I'm not sure I could have done that.
That is true to her character.
It really is.
Right.
And Ragnar did the same thing. He just held it back and cried to himself instead. I'm not that good of a person to do that.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Especially after she just lost Gyda. And the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised that Lagertha managed to get completely packed and leave town, and Ragnar had no idea.
I thought that was weird too. I don't know where he was to be gone long enough for her to do that.
Oh, she left with trunks full of things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like...
Also, where's she going?
That is a very good question.
Because their house burned down.
Where do you think she's going?
I don't know. Maybe she has family. Maybe she has a sister. Maybe her parents. I mean, really, where else? Her house burned down. I don't know where she's going.
True, yeah.
I don't know where she's going.
Now that we got to the end and Ragnar still just apparently had no idea just of the fallout.
That this was even a possibility.
Yeah.
It never even occurred to him that she might say, no, this is not going to work for me. You should know better.
It's like he has not been married to her for more than a decade.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This relationship, he should know better.
Yeah. They haven't been dating for 6 months. Like, he knows her.
Right.
Ragnar, you jerk. Next week, we're going to discuss Season 2, Episode 2, called Invasion. What do you think?
Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Invasion, I assume that will be the Vikings going west.
Okay.
Doing more raids. They're going to invade England and get more stuff. I don't know. If I were Ragnar, I might want to leave town for a little while. Till things blow over. I don't know. I'd like to know where Lagertha ended up.
Okay.
Or if she decides that she doesn't want to be away. I don't... Because now she's got Bjorn too.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she's going to continue to be on the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly because I got...
You sound very hopeful.
Well, I think I might be spoiled a little bit just because sometimes when you go in to watch the show, it'll show more recent show posters.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I actually don't remember if I saw Rollo on the one thing that I did see, but I'm pretty sure I saw Lagertha.
Okay.
So I don't think she's going to be gone, and I think that the people making the show would be stupid to get rid of her because
she's the best character.
She is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
I just don't even know if it'd be worth watching without her. She's so good. I love her so much. So
I really want a Lagertha pop doll. But
is there a thing?
They're not making... I think that they're just not making them anymore, so you can still buy them on Amazon, but they're like $50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they did make them, but they don't now?
I think so.
Interesting.
Or they just haven't made... Or they just don't make very many of them.
Well, that could be, I guess.
Yeah. I need to try to find one somewhere that's not ridiculous. You can get a Ragnar one for like $80.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They have Floki. He's much more affordable.
Really?
Huh.
I'll have to look at those.
Lagertha's way too expensive. But it's a really neat doll, though.
I'm sure. Interesting. I hope she's not going anywhere. I don't think she is.
Okay. Any other predictions? What do you think maybe the whole second season will be about? Because the first season was getting west, basically.
Well...
And Ragnar becoming Earl.
Yeah, it seems like, at least based on the agreement between Jarl Borg and King Horik and Ragnar, that seems like they're going to get some raiding parties together to go get land to take the land.
Okay.
Also, Ragnar at one point was talking to Floki and said, I need you to get well so you can build more ships. So maybe the second season is going to have more raiding going further into England. And I would like to say, I assume at some point there's going to be a baby. But I said that before.
That's true.
And that didn't work out.
Though before you said, I was editing the other episodes and I realized what I had forgotten. You had said, and Lagertha's pregnant, but I don't know how that's going to work. You can't have a baby right now with what's
very
going on.
Inconvenient, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that's true. I didn't want them to kill the baby.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to kill this baby either.
Mm-hmm. So you're against baby killing, is that what you're saying?
I mean, most of the time. Yeah. I am.
Most of the time.
I am anti-baby killing. But I feel like Aslog is more homemaker-ish.
Okay.
Like, she'll stay home and take care of the baby and have her women take care of the baby and stuff, and it'll be fine that Ragnar goes out and does his raiding and then comes home and
She's not going to go fight with him like Lagertha.
Right. I think she's really, really different than Lagertha. Maybe having a baby is not as inconvenient.
Seems like it's certainly wanted.
To her. Yes.
She hadn't done it on purpose. She certainly welcomed it.
And maybe Ragnar wants to bring her in as another wife because if she has a baby, then the possibility of having another baby is there. Mm-hmm. And he can start to have more children because he's already decided that Lagertha can't have any more. Mm-hmm. So if he sees this new opportunity to have more kids, he's going to want her to stay around.
Yeah.
Because he's going to use her as a baby-making machine, apparently. And she seems fine with it.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Their relationship is very weird. It's not even a real relationship. They hardly know each other.
Yeah. She's painted as such the traditional homewrecker, going in and seducing someone and getting pregnant on purpose to break up a marriage and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't like when they do that to women, when they give them kind of one single objective and they're just one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I need more about her. And I don't even necessarily need her to be redeemed.
Right.
I just want her to have a deeper character
just
than
more
this.
substance.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do with her in this season and if she's going to continue to have a big role in Ragnar's life. I mean, it seems like she'd have to.
The episode ended with him going back to her.
Mm-hmm. I did not like that.
At least they didn't give her this triumphant look on her face or something when that happened.
That's true.
Though I wouldn't be surprised if there was a take where that did happen.
I wouldn't be surprised about that either, for sure.
What's your top 3 category this time?
My top 3 for this episode were tough decisions by characters.
Okay.
The first one was Rollo surrendering to Ragnar. I think that it was difficult for Rollo to decide to surrender to Ragnar, but I think as soon as he did, he felt relief. It seems like he was relieved after that. I think it was hard for him to get to that point, but I think once he did, he felt like that was the right decision. I wish he would have decided that way before this point, but what are you going to do?
10 minutes earlier.
Oh my gosh,
That's all he needed.
So much.
He also seemed so sure before that he was going to be able to fight Ragnar. And then he got to that point and
he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Which, even when he actually betrays him, he still backs off at the end.
Yeah. Did it make you feel any better about him? That he wasn't able to go through with it? That it turns out he wasn't quite as much of a betrayer as he had seemed?
Yeah, I think it was slightly redeeming that he couldn't go through with actually fighting Ragnar. But I was just so mad at him for giving up at that point. I actually pity him because he's so lost.
What do you think is next for Rollo in this season? I mean, he's a free man.
But everybody hates him.
It's true.
I think he should leave. I think he already said it to Siggy. Nobody wants me here. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And he didn't say to her, I'm going to go hide in a hole. She's like, don't go hide in a hole or whatever. No, just go start over somewhere else where nobody knows you're Ragnar's brother. Where nobody knows you betrayed him. Go to England. You can speak the language, obviously.
He must be pretty infamous at that point, though.
Then change your name. It's not like they've got the internet where they're passing pictures of him around.
Sir, I'd like to see your birth certificate.
They didn't even have paper. I mean, he could say he's anybody. And he and Ziggy could both do that.
It's true.
Nobody has to know who they actually are.
When he said we shouldn't go hide in a hole, I was imagining Jamie Fraser in Outlander when, in one of the later books, when he goes and literally lives in a cave.
Yes.
When he's hiding away.
I liked that.
Yeah.
Though I was kind of frustrated because he was so far away and I thought he should have been with Claire and she was like, I don't know where he is. Every time they asked for him, but I did like that book.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2.
Yeah.
Lagertha obviously had a very tough decision. Do I stay with Ragnar and accept another wife into this family? Or do I say, I'm not going to put up with this?
Enough is enough.
And leave. And that was a really hard decision for her because she probably felt like her family was falling apart too.
Yeah.
Gyda's died. Ragnar has another baby with another woman on the way. That was probably hard for her to try to figure out, and also maybe not knowing which way Bjorn was going to go. And that's my number 3. Bjorn decided to stay with his dad and then changing his mind.
Yeah.
and going with Lagertha. And honestly, I wasn't surprised that he stayed with Ragnar, and I also wasn't surprised that he changed his mind. Because he has the loyalty to both of them, but I think he wants to take care of his mom. He knows his dad doesn't need him. Wants him to be there, but doesn't need him. But I think he thinks his mom needs him, and I think that she probably does.
I wonder if if it occurred to him at that point also, that if he stayed, he would be living with Aslog.
Yeah.
Which is not a pleasant prospect for him.
And he's like the son of the first wife.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird position to be in when there's a new baby.
And while going with Lagertha is not a betrayal to his father, staying with Ragnar and having a different mother is a betrayal
to Lagertha. That makes a lot of sense.
Did you think, I know I thought for a moment when Bjorn told her he was going to stay, do you think Lagertha might decide to stay after all too? You could see it broke her heart.
I think that she was already gone in her mind. I think that was just something else that she, at that moment, realized that she was going to have to deal with. Him not being there with her.
That sounds so terrible.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, she was already, 2 kids down.
Yeah.
Basically. Because, I was thinking about it in the miscarriage. She was so far along, I think it was actually a stillbirth and not a miscarriage.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
At the point that she was.
Yeah.
And not that that's...
Maybe she did start labor and actually did give birth and the baby just didn't make it.
I'm not sure what the week count is when they consider it a stillbirth instead.
She was at the end.
She was really, really far. And not that that's worse or not worse or anything than a miscarriage. I mean, you've got the same feelings, but she was already counting that kid, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. Already gotten to the point making plans, expecting to have this new person in her life and excited to meet the baby and, all that kind of stuff that you get to in the last, few weeks and stuff. And
all the expectations for her relationship with Ragnar, because it seemed like the whole baby saves a marriage thing that never works.
Well, yeah, and for her, and I think that based on what Ragnar had said, that they had wanted more children.
Right.
And so it was going to be good for them individually and as a couple.
Right.
And I think that maybe is a little bit of the difference.
Now it's time for Cheek of the Week, where we talk about something we really like and want to share with each other and you. My Cheek of the Week is a type of notebook called Code and Quill Notebooks is the brand. And they're super nice journals. I originally kickstarted them when they first started up, but since then they've come out with their own retail site and they have sales plenty of times too. And they're super nice notebooks. They have hardcover, softcover, large, medium, small size. A lot of the notebooks have the one side of the page, the left side is a grid, and the other side is lines with teeny tiny little lines in between, so you can make it like graph paper if you want. So you can do all sorts of lovely things with them. I use them for notes, I use them for actual writing that I do, but they're really nice, and the covers of the hardbacks are so lovely. They have this pebbled kind of material. They feel very nice. I have pretty white ones. They have different colors as well. I've given them to Rosanna as a gift before.
And I love it.
Use them for your bullet journaling sometimes, I think.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they're lovely. Anyway, I love them. And we have a code for the website for 10% off for you listeners that you can use if you go to their website, which is codeandquill.com. And if you use the coupon code somethingcheeky10, you'll get 10% off of your purchase. So you should go and get some fantastic notebooks.
I probably need another notebook. I mean, really,
I think you do.
Who couldn't always use another pretty notebook, right?
What's your cheek this week, Rosanna?
My cheek this week is something that somebody gave me as a gift.
Oh.
And then somebody's
you. Is it Code and Quill notebooks again?
No, it's not. It is a Diane Prince, aka Wonder Woman, Funko Pop doll.
Nice.
She's beautiful and amazing, and I love her. And she just showed up at work one day, out of the blue, and it was so exciting. And it was actually kind of a crappy day anyway, and so I opened up this present, and it was amazing. And now she's sitting on my desk next to my other super strong women, warrior pop dolls, Daenerys Targaryen, Natasha Romanoffsky, aka Black Widow, And who's my fourth one?
Helena.
And
from Orphan Black.
And Helena from Orphan Black.
Oh, I love her.
Who is the greatest clone of all time.
She
so
is.
now I have my beautiful Wonder Woman, and she's so cute. And I took a picture of her, and somebody posted on my Facebook page when I took the picture that I looked like her. And I was like, yes! My life is complete. Somebody said I look like Wonder Woman. So, and I will post a picture of the new Pop doll because she's so cute. I love her so much.
She's really cute. I saw that it was available for pre-order, and I know how much you love Wonder Woman.
I love Wonder Woman.
And so I ordered it months ago.
Oh, really?
And it just happened to turn up at the exact time that you needed a Wonder Woman boost.
I did.
Yes.
Her outfit's so cute. She's got a little shield and a sword, and she's just the best.
And it's based on the movie Wonder Woman coming out.
Right, not the old show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still awesome.
And I can't remember the name of the actress that plays Wonder Woman. She was...
Gal Gadot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She played Wonder Woman in the Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Was it versus Superman?
I think so.
Okay. She was my absolute favorite part of that movie. She's the best. Okay, listeners, you can find all of our Cheeks of the Week and send us your questions on our website, somethingcheekypodcast.com.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps other people see our show. And follow us on Twitter at somecheek and facebook.com/somecheek.
On our website, you can also find links to the other podcasts that we do, and you should check them out because they're also super cool.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-dum, dig-a-da-da-da-da-dum.